Hi everyone. I wanted to talk about a little bit of Lynn Wood. He was speaking on the news about election fraud and how the Georgia election was in fact rigged. He is an attorney and spoke about the unlawful and unconstitutional um, of tactics being used, such as the absentee ballots procedure. It was actually planned and set out to be handled in a back room situation in the dead of the night. And this was set up between the Secretary of State and Hillary Clinton's law firm, Perkins Coie. And again, this is Hillary Clinton's law firm. Who's one of the very many people causing problems for our president throughout his presidency and prior to his presidency and now during his election? Hillary Clinton. She and Perkins Coie had cut a deal in March of 2020. They altered, changed absentee ballot procedures. So, on the other hand, a change like this can only be made lawfully with the Georgia legislature. But it wasn't. And they did this absentee ballot frauding again in the dead of the night in a back room. And many legislatures were not even aware of that deal, in fact. Lynn Wood found out about this a few days prior to the election and saw that it was a procedure set up for fraud. So therefore, he went ahead and he filed his own lawsuit contending that the election was unlawful and unconstitutional, violating his equal protection rights as a voter. They had set up a different procedure, easier for absentee ballots and harder for people like himself to vote in person. In fact, he said it diluted his vote, similarly to a lawsuit that's going on in Texas, or being filed in Texas, or was filed in Texas. And the remedy to declare that law, or the law that an election was unlawful. Okay, so therefore the Georgia legislature has to take action. So Lynn Wood went on to say, Georgia governor is corrupt. He refuses to call a special session on this fraud. But when the court rules, if it does, that the election was in fact unlawful, then the governor of Georgia has to call a special session in order not to disenfranchise the entire voting population in the state of Georgia. Now, Hillary's law firm, Perkins Coie, has its fingerprints all over every case of litigation in this country where they are constantly urging the courts not to allow citizens of this country to review or analyze forensically the voting machines or the actual absentee ballots. And he went on to say, if there's nothing to hide, why are they hiding? There's a lot. They have attempted to rig and fraud behind the scenes, and the truth will come out one way or another. Every lie will be revealed. And Perkins Coie, Hillary Clinton's law firm, is right there in the thick of this dirty election, and they ought to be held accountable as well. And there are many like myself, and especially Lynn Wood, who inevitably foresees the United States Supreme Court in needing to address the election fraud from November 3rd, because our governors, whatever the case may be, representatives or senators, they're all in on it in these swing states, these radical left states. They're trying to stomp on the citizens' ability to address and make them address the voting fraud. So I personally also foresee the U.S. Supreme Court having to step in to address the election fraud. And in fact, there is overwhelming evidence on Sidney Powell's case that constitute review of the U.S. Supreme Court and addressing voter fraud as well. So again, Linwood had filed a lawsuit on his behalf as a voter in Georgia. He's filed a petition to grant a review of his case. And the country, I guess, in order for it to get justice and to get judicial relief with the truth, this country needs to have this matter resolved by the highest courts in this land and fix this fraud, because these left radical states that are corrupt and have corrupt governors or mayors and all of those type of officials want to sweep it under the rug because they're following the agenda of their socialism, terroristic counterparts, left radical Democrats, communist China, everything behind all that, whoever's behind all that. They're just following through and they're part of the bargain of trying to conceal this fraud and have it rule against the people and become dominant and have a traitor, tyrant, terroristic, socialism president frauded into power, and that would be Joe Biden. So, I just wanted to talk about Perkins Coie for a second. They have offices throughout the world, including Shanghai, China, Austin, Beijing, even here in Los Angeles and Century City. They're in Phoenix, Palo Alto, New York, Madison, Portland, San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, Taipei, Washington, D.C., and again, they have ties to China. So we can't allow Hillary Clinton a pass again. The people are going to have to demand that she get legally dealt with. Her and Perkins Coie. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next video, and I'm going to be giving my prediction, my psychic prediction on my reading regarding President Trump and Biden, whether or not he will be president. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next video, and take care of each other, and see you then.